morning, friends. I am Patty Elhoff, the author of Upcycle with Decoupage. That is also the name of my Facebook page. If you head on over there and click like and follow, you'll be notified when I put a new video out every week. That's also the name of my website if you're looking for all or most of the supplies. And here's what we'll be working on for today. Now this is the before picture of an old doll bed, and here is the after picture. You can find these doll beds in thrift stores. You can get them on Craigslist or FreeCycle. And I took some chalk paint, and the reason I'm using chalk paint is because it requires no priming. You don't need a base coat, you don't have to sand, and this is an older piece of wooden furniture. And I'm using the brush that's made especially for chalk paint, and I'm just going to cover the whole surface. There were only a couple of areas where I needed to go over the surface twice. There was a little bit of an image left here, but otherwise that was it, and it dries very, very quickly, the chalk paint. Another benefit to using this. I'm sorry if I'm sounding very quiet today. My husband's still asleep. I had to get up very early to do this video, and it is a perfect day to do a video because look at our lovely springtime March weather. So what I did was I took a nail file. You can take a 150 grit, sorry I'm a little bit out of focus there, 150 grit sandpaper and go around the piece in places where the furniture might wear normally, and sand it down, and then take a wet rag to just wipe away any of the excess. So this is rice paper, and this particular pattern actually inspired this project today. Thank you, Angie. And the number one question I get on my videos is, where do you get your papers or your napkins? Now I sell napkins on my website, but for this particular paper you would need to go to a page on Facebook called Mason Jar Madness and Decoupage, and she actually sells these beautiful rice papers. And what I did was I wet a paintbrush and I went around the edges and I just tore away the parts of the paper that I didn't want to use. And because I'm going to use a stencil on this piece, I first wanted to do a dry run. So I placed the stencil in a few different places and then put my image down. I wanted to see what looked best. When I was happy with the placement, I decided to use this blue tape. It's a low tack painter's tape to tape the stencil on, and I stenciled both sides of this. And I used a sea sponge that I dampened and then I squeezed out along with some burnt umber paint. And you can use a pouncer here. I just wanted the image to be a little bit more inconsistent, to age it a little bit. I wanted it to have a distressed look. So that's why I'm using the sea sponge. And I just stenciled this on the left side of this and then on the right side and put it aside to dry. And when the stencil was dry, I actually took the sea sponge and I went around the area and applied some more of the burnt umber, and then I used a wet rag to kind of wipe some of it away because I really wanted to distress this piece and just make it look a lot older than it is. And now on to our favorite part. I took an acrylic brush and I applied decoupage glue here. I'm using a matte finish, and I placed my image down over the surface, and this rice paper is much more sturdy, or is it sturdier? Either way, it is a lot stronger than a napkin, yet it's very sheer. was drying, I went to the other side of that same panel and I skipped a step. I thought I was recording it, but I was not. I took a stamp with script on it. It's just a regular rubber stamp, and I stamped to the left and I stamped to the right, and then I decoupaged my image in the center. And while that was drying, I cut out a few flowers from a napkin that matched my image. And I'm still going for this vintage look, so I found these old-fashioned rose napkins, and I just cut out, not too neatly because the background color matches the paint. I cut out a few of these napkins before separating the napkin. And now I'm going to separate that napkin that I just cut, and I'm just going to frame that piece of rice paper that I have in the center there. I'll decoupage this on here, and I'm going to use some saran wrap to press the napkin down to remove any wrinkles from it and make it nice and smooth. I should say to remove as many wrinkles as I can. This rice paper hardly wrinkles at all. The napkins are prone to wrinkling, but I am working on the floor in a very odd area. So I apologize, you will see a few wrinkles in here, but it's because I don't really have very good leverage here. A couple of things about stamping. You want to make sure you use something called archival ink that is waterproof. Most of these products are on my website. And you do want to be careful when you use the heat gun near your decoupage. Now I use this script stamp all over, and you can see I'm going to avoid the decoupage area because that could bubble up if you get it too hot. So just dry the whole surface of your piece and then add one more final coat of decoupage glue over the whole surface, everything, even the parts that you didn't decoupage. Then you want to let it dry, and here's how our piece looks right now. And I just want to spin it around and show you how this opposite panel looks. And I took a nail file and just filed away this excess part of the napkin. Everything is dry now and my husband is awake, so I can talk a little louder. And I took this fabric that I found in the wedding department of the fabric store because it looked very old-fashioned and wrinkly and sheer, and I wanted to tie it around all four posts to add to the old-fashioned romantic type of look. And I also took a charm that I found in the jewelry department and an old key, and I strung it around a piece of twine and tied it onto the corner of the bed just to give it a little bit more of an accent or a decorative touch here. Now I wanted a pillow that fit this exactly, so I had a piece of this foam cut out at the fabric store, and even with the coupon it was really expensive. I'm surprised. I think it was really expensive just for a piece of foam, and I did want it a bit thicker since I wanted it to be comfortable. And I do not sew at all. So I really just got a piece of very cozy fleece that matched my rice paper. I took the rice paper with me when I purchased this. And I simply wrapped it around almost like a fitted sheet because I do want to be able to wash this also. And the first doggy loved it. He actually sat down on his own and had a little look around. And my second little poodle, who would rather be in my lap, when I was cleaning up, actually decided to jump into the bed, which is her there. That's why you're seeing things around, like the heat, the dryer, and the cords. Sorry about that. I was trying to clean up. But she liked the bed, and she's been sitting in it and laying in it. And we have one other tester who just has to come over and check it out. And here he comes. Uh-oh, too big. So that is how we make an upcycled doll bed into a dog bed. And here's how those decorative elements look. And our fabric. And by the way, I'm working in a different area of the house today. I'm actually in the living room, which is why you see a bit of cords back there. There's a large piece of cardboard I use to protect the wall, and speakers are right there. But this was an unusual project to film. You can see I put that script stamp even there on those posts. I just rounded the post, but I wanted that script all over. Here's how the inside of the bed looks. And again, the posts with the fabric on there. And that is how we make an upcycled bed. And I thank you so much. By the way, here's that before picture again, and the rest of them are the after pictures. I thank you so much for subscribing, for commenting. Some of you have just been so lovely with your comments. That really makes my day. I'm happy to help you with any questions you may have. I'll see you next week with another video. Thanks again. Bye-bye.